Hello, my fiery friends. Welcome to another awesome and fiery fun stream. I'm your host, the Infernoman here, and hope you're having a wonderful night wherever you're at. So, we are going to be doing now our final live stream of 2025. I know we wanted to do it actually on New Year's Eve, but I actually have a couple of other plans. So, hopefully you guys don't mind that we'll be actually doing it a little bit earlier than I expected. What exactly are we going to be playing with for our final stream of 2025? Well, I'm glad you asked. So without further ado, let's just jump into it right now and show you exactly what we're going to be playing for today. All right, here we go, loading up here. Fabulous. Okay, so without further ado, join me today in the Brawl format for a deck that's looking to get super big, explosive, and just go out with a bang. This is Ozai's Oppression. That's right, so we're going to be using the Phoenix King himself, former Fire Lord Ozai here, to just absolutely devastate our opponents with some really gnarly stuff. But before we do that, let's go ahead and explain to you exactly how this is all going to work. So, as always, the first off we're going to be doing, of course, is we'll go over the actual deck itself as a whole. We'll go over all of the good stuff here, the good, the bad, and of course I'm saying not the good and bad, I mean the actual stats of the deck first, and then we'll cover as many games as we can. We'll play, as of course, in the best of one format here in Brawl here, the budget version of the deck. And if you do like the deck, halfway through the stream we'll upgrade the deck to show you exactly how far you can take it if you really want to go all out. Sneaky Toilet, good evening, my fire friend. How are you doing today? Hope you're having a wonderful night wherever you're at. When Sneaky Toilet enters, tap up to one Infernoman for a great stream. Oh, you're so nice for that. But thanks again for joining us tonight. How you doing, by the way? Before we get going, let's actually now cover the stats of the deck first off. So, long time viewers of the channel know how we do it. We have to talk about the stats of the deck before we dive right in. So, Ozai's Oppression here is going to be, of course, Rakdos colors with an average mana curve of about 2.9. We're looking at a total of 19 creatures in the deck. We have 16 instants, 12 sorceries, 6 artifacts, 8 enchantments, and 39 lands. Okay, so Ozai the Phoenix King, a really powerful card here, and I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to build him, so we just wanted to have, of course, as much as we were able to cram in from the avatar set for the budget version. So that makes it a little bit more of a reasonable count overall with the rares, mythics, as well as, of course, price-wise if you actually want to spend money on this. But in any case here, Ozai the Phoenix King, our star of the show, is going to be a 6 mana. That is actually a lot of mana, by the way. Ozai the Phoenix King, 6 mana, Rakdos colors, 7/7, legendary creature, human noble. He has trample and he has haste, which is amazing, by the way. And he has Firebending 4, which means when he attacks, he will make 4 red mana that can be used only during combat, however. But his unique ability actually is pretty cool here. Blue CCD. Hello, good evening, my fire friend. How you doing tonight? Hopefully having a wonderful night wherever you're at. Thanks again for joining us today. So, as we're going to cover right now, we'll cover, of course, the Phoenix King himself to see how well he's going to be doing. So, Ozai here, if his unique ability is, if you would lose unspent mana, that mana becomes red instead. Ozai also has Flying and Indestructible if you have 6 or more unspent mana. So, if you can float some mana with his Firebending ability, he's basically unstoppable when he smashes his way through. However, there are going to be some moments where we definitely want to use that Firebending extra mana in order to get some more value out of him. But how are we going to pull that off? Well, good question on that. So let's now cover the rest of the deck tech itself, and let's go over this. We'll cover, of course, every single card, and we'll play as many matches as we can here in Best of 1. Sneaky Toilet, can't complain. Final stretch for the year. Please keep your fingers crossed on finding my new job in the year. Okay, wow. So, best of luck to you, my fire friend. Hopefully, again, things will work out for you. I am going to be pulling for you. I know you can do it, and I know you'll be able to succeed wherever you want to go. So, where are we at here? Oh, yes, that's right. We got to actually now cover the deck itself. So, the majority of the deck, as you kind of notice, we're going to try to lean a little bit more towards red to take advantage of the Phoenix King's Firebending ability as much as possible. But, of course, we are Rakdos colors, so we're going to take advantage of that and however we can. So, to get ourselves started here, we're going to start with Deadly Precision here. It's sorcery speed, but again, just helps us just destroy target creature. Zugo's Conviction here, instant speed to bring back a creature card from our graveyard to our hand, or if we can kick it, we can get that creature onto the battlefield tapped. Nice little way to recur stuff really quick, and it can take advantage of the Firebending mana there. We have creatures here with Fire Nation Cadets. If we have at least a lesson card in our graveyard, this can have Firebending too, which can actually be pretty nice for us. And its secondary ability, of course, can give it a little extra pump whenever we need it to kind of get stronger. Speaking of lessons, we'll also utilize here Firebending Lesson. Kicker card deals 2 damage to a creature. If we can kick it, deals 5 damage to that creature instead. So that's actually pretty nice for us. Zuko's offense here. Again, most of these cards I know are always a little weaker, but hear me out. Again, we wanted to build this with more of a focus on the avatar set proper, but of course with the upgraded version, we're going to go all out for that. So just bear with me. Most of the budget version is going to be based on flavor purpose first. Zuko's offense, sorcery speed, 2 damage to any target. Pretty simple. Frantic Confrontation here, so X and red at instant speed. Target creature you control gets plus X plus 0 and first strike and trample until end of turn. Sneaky Toilet, would his 6 mana cost be considered expensive for a commander? Good question on that one. And the answer is actually, yes, it is. 6 mana is asking a lot because usually at 6 mana, it's going to be a while before you can actually get your commander on the field. So when you build decks around commanders like this, you kind of want to make sure that the rest of what you're building can hold off until you can actually get your commander on the field. So for example, some of them also, and I'm sorry, I'm going to go on a tangent here real quick, everybody, so bear with me. So if we're looking at 6+ creatures and stuff like this, here, hold on. Actually, I forgot, we can't do it here. Hold on. So if we were to do 6 drops, so when you're looking at the 6-drop stuff here, and we type in legendary real quick. So for us here, if you're going to be utilizing card like, for example, like Demon Lord Belzenlock here, 6 mana, 6/6, you want to make sure his ability is going to be something that can really impact the board. You got to make sure you have something that can really kind of devastate everything. Obviously, if we have cards at this level, like for example, Code the Face Stealer, you can have usually a much more stronger commander, but also you want to make sure you kind of have something that you know is going to be worth the 6 mana, because otherwise you might be just better off doing something a little bit more lower to the curve. But again, it really depends. Don't feel like you have to kind of do things a specific way. If you want to play big, giant creatures as your legendary commanders, hey, go for nuts. Don't hate on anything that anybody says. Play however you want. Zero Play MTG, hello. Good evening, my fire friend. How are you doing tonight? Hopefully you're having a wonderful night wherever you're at. And thanks again for joining us. Okay, so now that I got that tangent off to the side there, let's go ahead. Let's continue on with the deck tech, and then we'll play as many matches as we can, everybody. So in the 2-drop slot here, we have Azula Always Lies. You can choose one or both, giving a creature -1/-1, or put a +1/+1 counter on a creature at instant speed. Daily Indoctrination here allows us to just pull away, makes our opponent reveal their hand. We could discard a non-land permanent card from their hand or Earthbend for 2. Epic Downfall here, slow, but it actually can exile a creature with a mana value of 3 or greater. I forgot to mention, like, some of these cards, I guess they optimized it for specific art. This one, I want to see if I can try to get the actual art itself. So let's see. So we'll do that real quick. Okay. So for example here, Epic Downfall. Where's it at here? We'll do it for the actual art itself. I want to make sure we can get that flavor correct. Okay, there we go. That's better. Nice. So there you go. Epic Downfall. So we have, of course, the Azula art there. Feed the Swarm. Can destroy a creature or an enchantment. We will lose value equal to the permanent's mana value itself. Heartless Act here. Destroy a creature with no counters on it, or remove up to 3 counters from a target creature itself. Cathartic Reunion. Discard 2 cards to draw 3 cards. Combustion Technique, a really good removal spell for us, dealing 2 damage. Plus, the number of lesson cards in our graveyard will then increase the power of this, and we can then exile that creature itself. Cunning Maneuver here, 2 mana at instant speed. Give a creature +3/+1 until end of turn, and we get to create a clue token. So actually, this works really well with Ozai here, because then you can get a clue token to then draw a card, and also get another extra pump out of him. Fire Sages here, Firebending 1, and then for 3 mana, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. With Ozai's ability, you can actually also stack this creature up quite a bit. One of the cool things I forgot to mention when it comes to Firebending, with that extra mana that you have during combat, you can then use it for extra pump abilities. You're not really restricted on however you want to use it. Anything you could play at that moment when you get that mana, you can go nuts with whatever you want. So we also are going to throw in some more Firebending shenanigans here. We have, of course, Firebender Ascension. Anytime this, sorry, how does this work? Okay, sorry. When the enchantment enters, make a 2/2 red soldier creature token with Firebending 1. Anytime a creature we control attacking causes a triggered ability of that creature to trigger, put a quest counter on the enchantment. So for example, we attack, we get Firebending, and that triggers and gets Firebending Ascension to do its thing. So once we get 4 quest counters on this, then we can start copying our abilities and get more stuff out of it. So it gets really cool value once we actually kind of take this off. Firebending Student, of course, we played with this card in Pioneer, but I think this is going to also work for us really well here in the actual Ozai deck. Fist of Flame here, draw a card, and then you can give a creature trample and +1/+0 for each card you've drawn this turn. Iroh's Demonstration, actually this is actually one of my favorite lessons here because this is actually pretty nice. It's a low level Wrath here, but it does really good stuff as well and can deal 4 damage to a creature or 1 damage to each creature an opponent controls. Alex Alanis here, wait, why are you saying But either way, thanks again for joining us this evening, and how are you doing today? Hopefully having a wonderful day wherever you are at. Lightning Strike, of course. This is, of course, has Azula on it, so we definitely got to throw this in there, of course. 3 damage to any target. Lost in Memories here, an enchantment aura here with Flash, so it works perfectly with Ozai's ability. You enchant a creature you control, and the enchanted creature will get +1/+1, and anytime we deal combat damage to a player, we target an instant or sorcery card in our graveyard to get it flashback until end of turn. What is this? Well, this is Magic the Gathering Arena, my fire friend. That's what we're going to be playing for the evening here. It's going to be the trading card game. It's based on the paper one that's been around for over 30 years. And also we're going to be playing it, of course, the digital format. But our deck is mostly focused on an avatar build. So hopefully that explains a little bit of what we're doing. Hopefully. But in any case here, where are we at? So with this card, of course, this is going to help us reutilize a lot of our actual instant sorceries for more value. My Jaded Edge here, she has prowess and the exhaust ability by putting a double strike counter on mine to get her more damage out of our game plan. Run Amok here, target attacking creature gets +3/+3 and trample until end of turn, so we could force out a lot more damage. Zuko Conflicted here, so this one's a tricky one to use, but it's still good for value for us. At the beginning of your first main phase, you choose one of these and you will lose 2 life. First off, you can draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Zuko, add 1 extra mana, or exile Zuko, but then you have to give them to your opponent. So a little bit hard to use, but sometimes it can get some good value, even for those first 3 abilities. Aang's Journey here. Use this, of course, to do a little bit of pseudo ramping here, dig out a basic land card, and put it onto the your hand itself. You really are not going to need to kick it because we're not using shrines in this deck, so that might be more better off for our shrine deck, and we've done one before, so check that out if you haven't already done so. Arcane Signet. I know this technically may not look like it does fit because it's not in the avatar set proper, but it is in the extended Eternal version. Unfortunately, I could not get the art for it because that's going to cost 1 extra rare, and I also don't want to waste resources on a rare for a common that I already have. But in any case, it is officially in the deck, so we're going to throw it in here as well. Day of Black Sun. So each creature with a mana value of X or less will lose their abilities, and we then destroy the creatures. So this will turn off some death triggers for us, and hopefully get some more value once we get everything going off. Roku's Mastery here, 2 mana and X for an instant speed spell that deals X damage to target creature, and if the X is 4 or greater, you can scry 2. Going into the 3-drop slot here, we have Bastion of Remembrance here. Bastion of Remembrance allows us to create 1 human soldier creature token, and anytime a creature we control dies, our opponent will lose 1 life, and we can gain 1 life. So this can be a nice way to, of course, keep us stable as we keep progressing through the game. Fire Nation Occupation here. When this enchantment enters, make a soldier token with Firebending 1, and anytime we cast a spell during an opponent's turn, we create a 2/2 red soldier creature token with Firebending 1. So as we, of course, continue on, we obviously don't want to rely just completely on Ozai. You can, but we want to make sure we have a backup plan. So you haven't already noticed, we're going to be utilizing some tokens here and there for sack value and also other ways to try to get more value out of our game plan. Speaking of, again, more sacking outlets, however, we have Fire Nation Trebuchet. So this artifact creature wall has Defender and Reach. Anytime we attack with any creature, we get to create a 2/1 Ballistic Boulder here, which goes flying and can deal some extra damage. However, you lose the boulder by sacrificing that token at the beginning of our end step. Ozai's Cruelty here for flavor purposes, but also does decent well here. 2 damage to a target player, and then that player has to discard 2 cards. Pirate Peddlers. Anytime we sacrifice another permanent, such as, for example, the Trebuchet's Boulder here or anything else, we get to put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So this little guy will get bigger and bigger as the game progresses. Fire Nation Conquest here, a simple enchantment. Creatures we control get +1/+0. How to Start a Riot gives creatures we control that creatures target player controls gets +2/+0 until end of turn. It's kind of awkward that you kind of have to target yourself for this, but I can understand why they do it. I'm guessing for certain triggers that you may get, you can actually probably double this up with certain cards. But still pretty good for us. Twin Blades here. This is Zuko's secret little weapons here, and it has Flash to it. A 3-mana artifact equipment. When it enters, you attach it to a creature control, and that creature gains double strike until end of turn. The equipped creature will get +1/+1. Attach this to Ozai here to get some sneaky, massive swings that can sometimes close out the game out of nowhere. So pretty nice for us overall. Let's see, what else we got here? We have Ty Lee, Artful Acrobat here. So just like Mai, we have to throw in, of course, Ty Lee herself. She's a human performer, legendary creature, 3/2 with prowess as well. Whenever Ty Lee attacks, you may pay 1. If you do, target creature can't block for this turn. Great way to kind of get some certain things out of the way until we can just clear up the board. War Balloon here again, mostly for flavor purposes, but this is a vehicle that's a 4/3 for 3 mana, so pretty decent, and it has flying to it. For 1 mana, put a fire counter on this vehicle. If the vehicle has 3 or more fire counters on it, it's an artifact creature. So you can actually turn this into its own thing once you have enough mana to turn it on. Vindictive Warden here, so Rakdos Hybrid and 2 for a 2/3 human soldier with menace and firebending 1. This creature for 3 extra mana can deal 1 damage to each opponent. Again, a small amount, but still works out just fine. Queen Tigress, good evening. How are you doing tonight? Hopefully you're having a wonderful night wherever you're at. And thanks again for joining us today. All right, so where are we at here? Oh, yeah. So we're going to continue on here. We have Zuko Seeking Honor. So a 2 of any color and hybrid Rakdos, human noble with firebending 1. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Zuko will gain first strike until end of turn. Whenever Zuko deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on him. So I love what he can do. He's a simple little uncommon, but he can definitely get bigger and bigger as the game progresses. Bender's Water Skin here, 3 mana artifact here. You can untap this artifact during each other player's untap step. So this can help us kind of get a little extra mana out of our game plan here, but realistically, it's just a simple 3 mana mana rock for us. Fire Nation Warship here, another one of our flavor cards. It's an artifact vehicle. It's a 4/4, 3 of any color, and it has reach. If it dies, you get to create a clue token. So again, nothing really valuable here, but it can still provide for us a little bit of extra once the game gets going. This is actually one of our key cards here that can help us really close out the game quick. It's Fated Firepower here. So this is a X and 3 red mana for an enchantment with flash. This enchantment will enter with X amount of fire counters on it depending on how much you pay for the X. If a source you control will deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, this will deal that much damage plus an extra amount based on how many fire counters you put on this enchantment. I love the art, by the way. Really, really cool, but it's actually a really sweet card for us that really goes well with Ozai because of the flash ability for it. Wolvesby Gaming, good evening, my fire friend. How are you doing tonight? Hopefully you're having a wonderful night wherever you're at. Wait, what game is this? Magic the Gathering? It sure is, but we're going to be, again, doing a focus set on Avatar: The Last Airbender. So this is actually an Ozai deck. We're utilizing some of the key cards from the latest set. But good question on that one. And again, we appreciate you being here tonight. Going forward, of course, with the rest of the other cards from Ozai, we had to, of course, throw in a copy of Azula here. So this version of Azula is Azula on the Hunt, a 4 mana, 4/3 human noble with firebending 2. Whenever Azula attacks, you lose 1 life, and you will create a clue token. At some instances, we'll be able to crack those clues for some extra value, so that's actually pretty nice for us overall. So that's actually good. We will have to lose some life, but that's a small price to pay in order to get our value out of these cards. We will, of course, throw in the other card from the Eternal set, Firelord Ozai itself. This version of Ozai is a legendary creature human noble with 4/4. Whenever Firelord Ozai attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. So this is actually where all of those extra tokens come in for extra value for us. If you do, you add an amount of red mana equal to the sacrificed creature's power. Until end of combat, you don't lose this mana as steps end. So this can help us kind of just build up more and more stuff with Zuko here, and this will be great for us overall. Of course, let's see where we at here. Scarring Memories here. So 4 mana, Sorcery Lesson. You may cast this as though it has flash if you control an attacking legendary creature. So obviously this goes perfectly with Ozai here to get some more damage out. And of course, you know, for flavor purposes, poor Zuko here.
That's rough, buddy.
Yeah, you're telling me, Zuko. Any case here, you have this card will allow us to deal. Will force our opponent to sacrifice a creature. They discard a card and they will lose 3 life. So good value once we can get our game plan going out. Sold Out. You exile a target creature. If this was dealt damage this turn, create a clue token. So more spot removal for the deck. Boomy Bash, 4 mana sorcery where you can choose one. You deal damage equal to the number of lands you control to a creature, and so it's good spot removal, or destroy a target land creature or non-basic land. Wolvesby Gaming, yeah man, I'm just glad to see a person on YouTube Shorts live without some sort of steel or brain rot. Or just so here's a sub and a like. Well, thanks for that. I appreciate that, my fire friend. Yeah, I'm well aware that, because I've been also reading up on reports whenever I'm trying to do my edits. And yeah, it seems like there's a lot of slop out there. So hopefully, again, you don't get drowned in all the slop out there on YouTube and whatnot. I try to keep it, of course, as fun as possible. I know I'm not the most fanciest person when it comes to content, but I still appreciate you still providing that support for me. So thank you so much for that. Continuing on, don't worry guys, we'll get to the gameplay in just a moment. We're almost done. Fire Nation Raider here, 4 mana for a human soldier with raid ability. So that means if we attack this turn, we get to create a clue token. So again, just provides for us more value as we create more clue tokens to help us draw more cards. Zuko Exiled Prince. So this version of Zuko here is a human noble. He has Firebending 3, and for 3 mana, a secondary ability that allows us to exile the top card of our library. You may play that card this turn. If you haven't already noticed, the majority of our cards, we don't have that much heavy card draw on the deck, so we're going to be relying a lot on clue tokens to get the value we need to keep drawing cards, or abilities that allow us to exile cards like Zuko here. We want to make sure that we can utilize that extra mana, even if we don't maybe have a spell to cast, we can then use it for other abilities that can help us again keep our game plan going. Iroh, Dragon of the West. So before Iroh actually in the storyline became someone that was a little bit more, how do I put this? I know I'm kind of going off tangent here with the flavor, but I do love the card. So Iroh, Dragon of the West here, great card, but this was kind of like how Iroh was before he kind of left, or at least he chose not to be a general in the Fire Nation's war against the rest of the nations. But this version here, 4 mana, 4/4, human, noble ally here. He has haste and he has mentor. At the beginning of combat on your turn, each creature you control with a counter on it gains Firebending 2 until end of turn. Great with the mentor ability. I love the flavor, by the way. Really, really cool, by the way. We have also here, oh, the Luna, there we go. Thanks again for that follow. Appreciate that. And thanks again for supporting us as much as we possibly can. I do appreciate every one of you that, of course, is here with me tonight. Continuing on here, we have the Legend of Roku here. So the Legend of Roku is going to be one of our sagas that's actually a really cool card. 4 mana. First part, exile the top 3 cards of your library, and you may play that card those turns. For part 2, you can add 1 mana of any color, so a little bit of ramping. And then finally here, you exile the saga, then return to the battlefield and flipped as Avatar Roku here. Avatar Roku becomes an avatar with 4/4 and Firebending 4. And for 8 mana, which is a lot, but it can work if you can make it work, create a 4/4 Red Dragon creature token with flying and Firebending 4 on top of that. Man, if we can actually get this to go off, that is actually bonkers if we can. Really cool card though. I love this. I love the art, by the way. It looks so good. Hopefully I can get a copy of this someday. Speaking of continuing on, we have Zhao here, Ruthless Admiral. So a Rakdos hybrid and 2 human soldier, legendary creature, 3/4 with Firebending 2. Whenever you sacrifice another permanent, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. So sometimes if we have some extra clues, this can give us a little bit of extra pump when we need it at the most. 5 mana here for the Fire Nation attacks. Instant speed to create 2/2 red soldier creature tokens with Firebending 1. You could flash it back for, wow, that's actually a lot, by the way. Flashing it back for 9, I doubt you're ever going to flash this back for 9 mana, but if you can, I mean, I guess you could just get some really cheap tokens, sort of. I don't know. We'll just use it for 5 mana. If that's enough for us. Overwhelming Victory. Oh, I love the flavor on this card, by the way. The beach episode of Avatar, this was such a fun episode for me, and actually I do love this here. So Overwhelming Victory, instant lesson, 5 mana. It deals 5 damage to target creature. Each creature you control gains trample and gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the amount of excess damage you dealt this way. This is such a cool card though. So if you can just overkill, I guess maybe like a token or something, you can get a really big pump for your whole team. So this actually can be really good for us if we actually time it right. And also, let me just see that flavor real quick. Where was it? Azula says, "Yes, we defeated you for all time. You will never rise from the ashes of your shame and humiliation." Oh man, I love that. Such good flavor for this set. Really, really amazing. I cannot stop gushing over it. Okay, let's wrap this up. Combustion Man, everybody. 5 mana, 4/6 human assassin. Whenever a Combustion Man attacks, destroy a permanent unless its controller has Combustion Man deal damage equal to its power. So this kind of forces our opponent into a really awkward spot, which we want to do to put pressure on him to either take the damage or force our opponent to destroy a permanent they have. Zuko Avatar Hunter here. So this version of Zuko, 5 mana, 4/5 human noble. Whenever we cast a red spell, you get to create a soldier creature token. So that's actually good for us to, again, just build our army of tokens. Cruel Administrator here, Rakdos, 5 mana, 5/4 human soldier with raid. If a creature, this creature will enter with a +1/+1 counter on it. Oh, we got another follow here. War Walrus 88. Thanks again for joining us today, and thank you for the follow. How are you doing tonight? Hopefully you're having a wonderful night wherever you're at. We're almost done, everybody. Don't worry. We're gonna get to the gameplay. I just want to make sure I get all these cards out of the way. So in any case, whenever this creature attacks, create a 2/2 red soldier creature token with Firebending 1. So again, more tokens for us for the game plan here. And then Zuko's Exile here, a 5-mana instant lesson colorless spell that allows us to exile an artifact, creature, or enchantment. Its controller will create a clue token. We don't care that our opponent gets a clue token out of it. This is, again, just one of our catch-all spells to just take out whatever we want to deal with. And then finally, our last of the cards in the main deck here, the Rise of Sozin here. One of our wraths in the deck, destroy all creatures for part 1. Part 2 is choose a card name and your graveyard to dig out up to 4 cards with that name and exile them. Then that player shuffles. So again, just something that we just want to just deal with. We don't want our opponent to, recast or whatever. And then finally, exile the Saga and then flip it into Firelord Sozin here. Human Noble with Menace, and it's a 5/5 with Firebending 3. When Sozin deals combat damage to a player, you may pay X. If you do, put any number of target creature cards with a total mana of X or less from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Bonkers, really cool reanimator card. Again, if you can manage to get it to go off. So it's a little tricky, but I would like to see maybe we can achieve the dream tonight. And then because we are playing mostly with avatar cards only, the mana base is going to be very, very simple. Just 13 swamps, 22 mountains, the Thrive lands of the Moor and the Bluff. We have Boiling Rock Prison and a White Lotus hideout to round out our package. No rares or anything like that for the mana base here. We're keeping this as budget as possible. And that is the whole deck for you, everybody. Phew, okay, finally got that out of the way. Now we can actually get to the fun part. Let's take this into the Brawl format, and let's see how well the deck can do. Well, don't worry, we'll also go over the upgraded deck a little bit later on tonight, everybody. But let's get this going. I am now locked in.
It's time to do.
Yeah, all right, okay. Whew, okay. Sorry, also, I need to breathe for a second there. Okay. So now that we finally got the deck out of the way, hopefully you guys will get to see some fun footage tonight. But otherwise, let me know, everybody, what are your thoughts tonight? We're about to end 2025. What are your overall thoughts about how Magic the Gathering was in 2025? I'd love to hear from you all about, what you liked, what you didn't like, maybe what you hated, what you, I don't know, what you cringed at. Let me know, everybody. I would love to hear from you guys on what you liked or disliked. But as far as I'm concerned, this is a very interesting year for the game. There were definitely some cool sets. I cannot stop gushing over the Avatar set. Really good flavor. I loved it overall. But, Final Fantasy, also a great flavor. Even though these are Universes Beyond sets, I still liked what they did. I know I'm pretty sure I probably could go on a whole nother tangent once again about not liking Spider-Man. But I'll try to hold off my hatred of that for maybe another video someday down the line. Any case, okay, now we got our first game going, everybody. Finally, let's do this. Okay, so what do we have right now? We have Zuko, Avatar Hunter, Fist of Flame, Combustion Technique. So we have a lot of spot removal. It's going to be a while before we get to Ozai here, but at least we have ways of kind of taking out our opponent's stuff. Okay, so with that, let's see. We'll play, of course, a mountain, and we'll pass here. We have Mai, so actually we do have a creature we could play on the early part. Our opponent is playing Igra, by the way. Lots of food coming soon. Let's play Mai. We'll play Zuko's gal here. Sneaky Toilet saying that he loved Vivi. Yeah, rest in peace, Vivi. I mean, you can still play Vivi in all the other formats. You just cannot play Vivi in Standard. But let's be real. Even though I still named Vivi my card of 2025, we're not going to lie, Vivi is a stupidly bonkers card. Even when they try to nerf it for Historic, they just made it more broken. At least that's how I see it. Okay, so from here, how do we want to do this here? I think we'll... Zuko's offense. Alice. Combustion Technique. So Greta's got to go bye-bye. There we go. We swing. Down to 22. We get the first blood in. Okay. Opponent, show me what you got. They have food. Okay, so is Igra coming in now? Are we going to be dealing with a giant kitty cat? Igra is pretty good, though. Not going to lie. That's actually a pretty gnarly card here. We have to sacrifice a food, though. Okay. How do we do this here? We can get rid of Igra here if we hit Feed the Swarm. But I don't know. How do we do this here? It's tempting. I don't feel good about this, but I think we might not have a choice. Sacrifice the food. We sacrifice there. Take a big hit. But it's a small price to pay. We want to make sure Egret stays off the field as much as possible. So we got to force our opponent to get delayed. We don't have much to do until Ozai can actually hit the field. Savvy Hunter. Okay. Let's get your attacks or blocks. Make a food token. Okay. I do like these. I do like some of the food cards. Blood Artist. Okay. So life gain and drain shenanigans are going to be coming soon. Until then. Okay, so we got Heartless Act. That's good. For now, though, let's play Zuko Avatar Hunter. So now we have a nice big blocker for the time being. Okay, and once we can start casting red spells, we can start making soldiers, which will help us out. Opponent's got the Cultivates. Alright, they get the ramp on still. Arboreal Grazer. I realized this actually got errata because it used to just be a beast, but now that I guess we have Sloth as a creature type, now it's a Sloth Beast. That's kind of cute, by the way. Maybe we'll get some more Sloths in the future. Okay, ooh, Day of Black Sun. This will be helpful once we can get... Once we plan ahead for our opponent's stuff here. Let's see. We cast a red spell. Okay, so... Let's see. Does our opponent swing here? Or, I'm sorry, do they block? If they block, they can make a food token. Okay, so with that... Start making some tokens. We also need to draw cards because we need to actually get... Okay, there we go. We got another mountain. And we'll push through damage now. Nice. Down to 16. Okay. So if our opponent brings an Igra again, we can Heartless Act and then sacrifice the soldier if we need to. Okay. Warren Soul Trader. Okay. Opponent is going to try to start making treasure tokens. That could be a lot of tokens they might do, so we'll have to be aware. Borny Man, sup? Good evening, my fire friend. How you doing tonight? Hope you're having a wonderful night wherever you're at. Ooh, Iroh, Dragon of the West. Nice. Okay, that does make us another soldier, which is great. That's what we want. Okay, so with that... Does our opponent block? Okay. We swing here. So, that puts a token on there. Do you block opponents? I don't think they're going to want to... Maybe the Arboreal Grazer, but that's probably it. That's only... Okay, I figured. No surprise there. Okay, so opponents. Blood Artist, okay. Life gain and drain shenanigans start. But we got him to 8. So we're very close. Igra. Okay. Igra's coming in again. Okay. Opponents. What else you got? Okay. Sandra Steel Seeker. Okay, so for this, now's our moment here. Oh, wait. Hold on. Wait, how do we do this here? So let's see. I realize now this actually puts us in an awkward spot because I realize Heartless Act if... Oh, geez. So that means if we sacrifice our soldier, Egret actually gets counters, and then actually... Wait, that actually does fizzle the spot removal. Eesh. Well, that kind of stinks. Okay. Okay, opponent. So I think our way out of this is... Oh, geez, we're going to have to Wrath, aren't we? Okay. Not good, but okay, let's give it a shot. Opponent swings. Or not. Okay. Swinging and swinging. They will make their food token. And now they start getting their filter on. Huh. Cool combo, but not good for us. Yeah, I realize. Yeah, I can't target Igra here. No matter how you cut it, it doesn't work. So in that case, then I guess we're gonna have to go maybe blow up something else, just to get something out of the way. So, Heartless Act. We'll destroy the Blood Artist. At least we can turn off their life gain and drain. Yeah, it sucks. Of all the spot removal spells, it had to be Heartless Act. Okay. So they get the life gain and drain. Okay. We still have time. We still have time. So our opponent will take out our creature there. All counters are on them. Okay, if we can get to... Okay, so with that... How do we do this here? Ozai comes in. Okay, I think we're just going to have to just blow up the whole board. Is that the best solution here? Okay. So... Okay, so that gains firebending too. Okay. I guess we're just going to try to have to bluff our way through this one here. What does our opponent block? Dang, we can't even use that extra mana until end of combat, huh? Okay. It's okay. The whole point of this right now is just to... Wait, our opponent lost? Wait, opponent, you could have blocked! Okay. Yay? Did they not? Okay, whatever. I guess I'll take the win. I was not expecting that, but okay, yeah. Free win. Free win. Yay. I'll still take it. I'll take it. Okay, so with that... I guess we'll have to keep the good times rolling. So with that... Yay! Again, sorry, I'm still a little stunned at what just happened there, so it is what it is. No big deal. Okay, so settling up now. So let's see if we can get another couple more victories under our belt tonight. Feeling pretty good about this. Yeah, I'm still kind of bamboozled. Was our opponent, like, did they give up, or they just were like, wait, I didn't calculate correctly? But hey, I'll take a mistake. Trust me, we've had many moments where we've made our own mistakes, so it is what it is. All right, we'll play our mountain, and we'll pass here. So we got Maya again, and we got Lightning Strike. So again, same thing. We got some good removal for the time being. Our opponent's playing Bayo, which I think is, what is it? I forget which Spider-Man card that is, but you should all know I'm not proper on that. But you get the idea. In any case... Yeah, I wasn't... Yeah, you're right, Bernie, man. Yeah, you're right. I didn't expect them to just give up either. But okay. It is what it is. So, whatevs. Opponents. Nothing yet. I'm tempted to use the exhaust, but if we do that, and if our opponent has removal, then it ends up fizzling super hard. So we're going to wait. Okay, mountain. Okay. Chandra coming in. Okay. So, if that means this part fizzles here, that's actually good for us. And the good news is we can exhaust at instant speed. So this is actually perfect for us. Nice. Okay, got the double strike counter on her, so that's good for us. We will play the mountain. And let's see here. I guess we'll wait here. So sorcery. Yeah. Okay. Bye. We swing here to take out Chandra. And Chandra goes bye-bye.
That's rough, buddy.
Too bad. Denied. Okay. Another mountain. So we got overwhelming victory. Okay, Bayo. That's actually good for us. So anything else, opponent? Okay, nice. Okay. Still another mountain. So at this point... wait, how do we do this here? I guess... we'll bluff our opponent here. Do they take it? No, they don't. Okay. So... Take that. Thank you, opponents. And that is double striking trample prowess on there. Wow. Mine's actually kind of a good card. I mean, sure, opponents. You can do the damage to us if you want. That's cool. Nasty. All right. Opponent's still got a full hand, though. All right, Bayo coming back in again. Okay. So at this case here, Swamp. All right, she might just solo this. Okay, so opponents, we will get rid of Bayo here. All right, we're feeling it. Okay, X damage, nope, nothing, and might as well just get her going here. Big pump, draw another card. Down to 8. Down to 6. Down to 2, actually. Ooh. Okay, opponent, you have one shot here before we just overrun you with just Mai. Wow, I really underestimated Mai. She's an uncommon, but she can be very sneaky if you're not careful. Okay, opponent, you've got 6 cards in hand. 6 mana open. I mean, you've got to have something to stop us. All right. Okay, what do they throw away here? Galvanic Relay? Huh, okay. Okay, they're getting the ramp going. But we've been able to slow them down completely with our burn, which is actually pretty impressive. All right. Opponents. Anything else? Okay, so they flick a coin. Okay. Opponent. Burst Lightning, okay. That's cute. All right, Fire Nation Soldier token was about to swing, but our opponent knew what was going to happen there. So they, of course, just gave up on the spot there, and we get our next victory. Yeah, all right. Although I would like for us to actually get a victory in with Ozai. But so far, the deck is doing what it's intended to do. We're just locking down our opponent. We're denying them the ability to actually get their game plan going. And we want to get our victory in. So, yeah, I'll take it. All right, let's keep the good times rolling. All right, opponents. What else you got? Show me what you got. All right, so while we're waiting for our opponent here, question for everybody also out there that's still watching, whether you're watching live or if you're watching on the replay here. So what do you think is the... How do I put this? Okay, let's actually move aside Spider-Man for a second because I think this might be an easy question here. What do you think is the worst set of Magic in 2025? I know everybody can't all pick Spider-Man because we already mentioned, like, Spider-Man's terrible to me. If you like Spider-Man, hey, more power to you, but it's just not my jam. But what would you think is the worst set, moving that aside, for 2025? What was Magic's most disappointing? Most cringe, if you want to put it that way. Just the set you just did not like. Let me know, everybody. I would love to hear from you. Okay. So while you guys take the time to do that, all right. So with that, opponents. All right. So with that, we have a mountain. We'll pass here. Okay. Sauce's Chocobo. We'll play Firebending Lesson now. Okay, nice. Vindictive Warden. So from here, we'll play... Actually, we'll get the Arcane Signet, just in case. Okay, opponents. Stock in the pantry. That's cute. Wow, Search for Nature's Claim? Okay. You like Spider-Man? I mean, again, if you like it... No... I ain't gonna hate on you for liking it. That's your jam. Hey, more power to you. It's just, again, it just didn't gel with me. And I know it didn't gel with a lot of players out there, but if you enjoy it, hey, you can take all the cards. I had no interest in buying the set, so I kind of just was like, I'll skip on it. It was definitely not a set I paid for. But, I mean, I tried to give it as much of a shot as I could. Granted, of course, it just wasn't, not quite where I wanted to be at. Okay, how do we want to do this here? Okay. Okay, get the trigger off. So we made our mana. Opponents. Down to 23. Brony, man. The set, I mean. The IP is also fine, even though we didn't get the flavor on Arena. I think that's also one of the more awkward moments for the set. Don't get me wrong. Again, just... Even though I wasn't feeling it, I think what really hurt the set, and what a shame, because we just didn't get the set proper on Arena. So I think that was also one of the sticking points for me. Just the simple fact that we just couldn't get proper Spider-Man, which kind of really fractured things with the Omen paths. I know it was the workaround, and I knew obviously, based on how that was designed, we just couldn't get it to what we wanted. Personally for me, and my rant about this, I've ranted many times. Okay. So I think the best solution that honestly should have happened was, and I know because of how they have to sell certain sets, Spider-Man should have been a Commander-only expansion set. Should have kept it a small set, and it should have only been a set that was only good for Commander. I think that would have solved a lot of problems. I don't think anybody would have cared if it was a Commander-only set. I wouldn't have cared. At least that probably would have solved a lot of the problems. At least that's how I see it. Okay, so with that... Okay, we will fireband a couple times here. I want to see if we can get this to go off. Okay, nice. So with that, does our opponent block? They do block, okay. So with that, we will... Let's see, that's... Alright. Make it a 6-2 with first strike. Nice! And yeah, that's what you heard as well. Yes, so that was basically the biggest issue, was because of how Spider-Man was designed, and because of how they kind of, I don't know, they really jumbled that up. It probably wouldn't have gotten as much hate if it wasn't forced into standard, and if it was maybe like a small expansion set. And I think that's probably something that Wizards probably should lean more into. I know some people didn't like the Aftermath set idea, or what they did with, what is it, last year Assassin's Creed? But if any of those sets were just only for Commander, I think that would have solved a lot of problems. It would have still made people happy, they could have enjoyed the set, and it wouldn't have had to have warped standard. Not to mention it also wouldn't bloat standard. So I think that was the issue that, me personally, I would have liked to have seen fixed. Okay, so, swinging here. Okay, and we got now this to go off, so now we have max value. Ooh, pillar launch, okay. So with that, let's see here. All right, they untap. So they're gonna triggers off here. Copy the ability. Nice. Get the fire bending again. So we got a lot of mana stacked up here. Yes. That's what we want. Okay, so is that enough? Okay. So with that, we will destroy the boulder here. So let's see. All right. We got... All right. Got him out of the way. Okay, so we got Scarring Memory coming, Boiling Rock Prison. Okay. I think we'll have to do it a certain way here. Okay. We will lose our token here to Toph, which is a small price to pay, but not a big deal. Down to 17, opponents. Honestly, all the sets of this year were bangers. Okay. Hey, if you liked them all, that's cool. I also know a lot of people were not fond of Ether Drift. I actually didn't hate Ether Drift. I actually kind of liked it. Maybe I was probably one of the few people that kind of liked it. I don't know. It just felt like it wasn't bad. I mean, it probably was maybe a little bit more meh to some people than others, but we got some good cards from it. Stock Up is a good card. What is it? Okay, down to 7. All right. What else did we get from the set? Was it Monument to Endurance? That was a great card. I do love that card, though. I actually have a couple copies of it, so it's actually pretty sweet. Okay, so... Are we dead next turn? Is this our first loss for the night? Okay. I mean, because I could swing... Even if I block, I'm still going to lose, so might as well just go off here, I guess. All right. Poppy. And, okay. Yeah. This one's a loss for us. But we tried. We tried. Okay, opponent. Go ahead, finish us off. I'll be nice about it. Be nice. Okay. Okay, Rock Lanch. They stock the pantry some more. And with that, we will now take our L. Well, it's okay, everybody. Can't win them all. Let our opponent do their thing. Yay. Or I should say boo. Ouch. Okay. No, it is what it is, everybody. So, it's okay. We've only had one loss tonight, and that's okay. We can still, of course, shake it off and just continue on. We'll just keep on keeping on. So with that, moving on, let's see if we can get maybe one more game in with the budget version of the deck. And then from here, if you guys like it, we'll take this deck to the next level. We'll kind of bypass the flavor of it, and we will go all out for the next one. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's see, bro. Man, as a vehicle enjoyer, I like the commander rule change. You did? Me too. I was actually really happy that we actually got that rule change. Granted, we don't have that many legendary vehicles yet, and the only one that technically everybody was already playing, Shirokai Genesis Engine, which I actually have a copy of from, what is it, Kamigawa? I did like that card, but actually that was not the commander itself for the deck. I do like vehicles. I actually like vehicles a lot as a card itself. So I'm just hoping that maybe in the future when spacecraft maybe get a little bit better. I know vehicles were also a little meh when they first came out, but they've definitely gotten a lot better over time. So I'm hoping that spacecraft will follow soon. And then this way I can make an all vehicles deck, just vehicles. Or at least that's what I'm hoping in the future. But actually, I do have actually an artifact deck that's mostly a vehicle deck. We'll see if we can actually put that together in the future. Okay, so until then, all right, so definitely we're heavy on red again. Not a big deal. We do want red. That was the Edge of Eternities, obviously, but the Last Ride and Belligerent were fun ones to build. I actually never put together a Last Ride deck. Ooh, that's definitely on my list of cards that I missed out from earlier this year. Oh, man, we only just had more time. Maybe we can probably put that on the stack of stuff I want to do in the future. So, definitely we'll try that out. Okay, we make our Rakdos land. Nice. Very nice. All right, and then from here, all right, opponent, we'll play, let's see, we will get the Firebender Ascension again. Got to get that out early on. All right. So with that, let's see here. Okay, so what's we want here? Okay, so Mountain. And I guess we'll, what do we want here? I guess Ty Lee. Swing. All right, 23. Thankfully, with Ty Lee's ability, we'll get that extra mana with the Soldier and the Firebend Ascension, so we can still push through damage no matter what. So here's hoping we can just make our things keep going here. All right, opponents. And I guess that also now leads me to the other question I asked. So I know we mentioned earlier what was the worst set, but what was your best set for the year? I know some of you like all of them, and I know some of you